all the world's a stage.
And all the men and women merely players.
They have their exits and their entrances.
And one man in his time plays many parts.
And this is the hardest part I have ever played.
These are the voyages of the USS Boudica.
That would be the entire
Man.
stream, a conversation about that.
You know what's scary?
I don't know how we
You know what's scary is we almost got that one recording, but now you can keep it to yourself, which is fantastic.
No one will
ever have to know your shame, Zed. Your utter, deep, regretful shame. But welcome everyone to episode 6 of Star Trek Mell, a Star Trek Adventurers actual play run by myself and a smattering of really cool folks. We've got 2 guest stars here. All of these folks are fantastic. I've been really enjoying playing some games and weaving these 2 stories together. And tonight is the epic conclusion of this arc, not the stories themselves, although they could blow up the universe. We'll find out what happens. But enough out of this old hound wolf. We're going to go around the table. We're going to have everyone introduce themselves, who they're playing. We're going to have a quick little brief intro by myself. And then we are going to dive right into the action that is transpiring on board one Chronos station. So we're going to go Matthew, Sidereal Day, Charles Warren, Adrillian, Fizbo. Take it away, my friends.
Hello, everyone. My name is, as Wolf said, Matthew. I play Captain Suri Hagen, who is a female Vulcan Betazoid hybrid on her first command.
Hello, I'm Sidereal Day, and I'm one of tonight's guest stars. I'm normally in Valhalla on Tuesdays, where I play Commander Ajay Shahira, the Bajoran First Officer and Chief Medical Officer.
Hello, I'm Charles. I'm also one of the guest stars. I play Ensign Zed, the Ferengi Chief of Security and Operations Officer on the Ragnar.
Hi, I'm Joel Erdrillian. I play Samina Velia, the resident human intelligence officer.
Hi, I'm Fizbo. I'm playing Science Officer Jashonaman, who's currently hosting thousands of beings in his brain.
Tens of thousands. I just want to be very clear. There's tens of thousands. And of course, I am Darewolf. I am Darewolf, the game master, the spinner of tales, the weaver of weaving. I don't know. I don't have a good... What's a good one for that? The weaver of...
Weaves.
Weaves?
Yes.
Weaver of wheats. Weaves.
Webs is traditional,
Webs,
but
weaver of webs.
yeah, I don't know.
Spinner of lies? No, wait. That's not it. So when we last left off, our intrepid crew of the Boudica, we had a couple of intense things happen. The center of one Chronos station, we watched as Commander Velia ran in what appeared to be a slow-motion, cool guys don't look at explosions sort of style run. She watched as Commander Mitchell flung herself from the edge of the circular platform that surrounded this central chamber where the white hole, having sunk from the pinnacle down to the base of this central chamber, she flung herself over the edge. As Commander Velia dove to the edge of her platform, reaching, hoping to grab a bit of clothing, a hand, she watched as Commander Mitchell fell and fell and fell, and slowly her silhouette turned black, and the only thing you could make out was that bright, shining red hair, very similar to all of the artwork and some of the motifs you had seen inside of the very station itself. Back aboard the Boudica, on the bridge, the younger junior officers watched as a Ferengi dressed in a yellow uniform, looking to be either security, perhaps command of some sort. He was an ensign. It was an ensign. He appeared in this kind of almost cocoon of ice, which quickly melted, leaving a puddle aboard the bridge. And then where we're going to pick up our first scene, our first true scene, inside of the Boudica, inside the conference room, we see a woman dressed in the sort of medical greens like you see on my shoulders. She similarly looks to have just defrosted out of this sort of ice kind of cocoon. And Commander Ajay, as your eyes begin to adjust, you feel the sting, like you've just stepped inside from a very cold, winter-chilled outside. And directly across from you, also beginning to awaken, is what appears to be a Vulcan woman. She's wearing red of command. She has captain's pips on. And it takes you a moment. It takes you a moment to orientate yourself inside of this room, and you recognize you're likely aboard a Federation ship, but as the two of you sort of come back to it, you notice one another noticing each other, and I'd like to leave the scene to you.
I think that Suri just sort of staggers against the table, wiping some blood that's trailing down from her nose, and gives you a bit of a quizzical look, her eyebrow raising. She says, "You're not a fake commander who's here to sabotage the ship, just like that captain we ran into, are you? Hopefully you're a real commander?"
Yes, Captain, I can assure you. And Ajay will rattle off her serial number. Commander Ajay Shahira of the Ragnar.
You probably understand more about what's going on here than I do. Captain Suri Hagen, and she sort of staggers forward, catching herself again on the table, and then tries to right herself and extend a hand for a handshake of the USS Boudica.
Ajay will shake the captain's hand. Yes, Captain. My ship and my captain and I were attempting to pull your ship out of the temporal junction you were in, but it seems things went sideways as Chronos Station seems to make things topsy-turvy regardless of intention.
So we found, Commander, you said that the Ragnar was attempting to pull us out of this temporal bubble. Did you have some indication that we were in distress?
Yes, I'm sorry, Captain. Things got a bit confusing. I was heading for sick bay when things went more sideways. It seemed as if your ship was stuck and was trying to vibrate through multiple dimensions, as I recall. And I hesitate to call it a psychic vision. I'm not given to such. Although it seems I might have to revise that given recent events.
And Suri smiles sort of sheepishly for a moment. I think that might actually have been my fault. I sensed some kind of psionic disturbance, an emotional imprint. Possibly it was a result of your vessel's attempt to extricate us from this temporal manifold produced by Chronos Station. When I reached out, I was almost immediately knocked unconscious. It's speculation at this point, but it's a possibility.
In this moment, Commander Ajay, if you remember back to the events of your last episode that your character was involved in aboard the Ragnar, you had this sense, this feeling, this kind of headache-like pull towards the anomaly that you were witnessing. Now standing here next to Captain Hagen, you still feel this kind of pull, this kind of headache, this disorienting feeling, but it seems all focused towards Hagen. Now, what that means, what you should do about it, you're not sure, but in your heart, that kind of gut feeling, if you were to call it anything, a sort of gut intuition, as it were, a Bajoran intuition, perhaps. Something to do with Captain Hagen. Maybe not even just Captain Hagen, but something to do with the Boudica. It's important. What that is remains to be discovered.
Yes, you mentioned a fake captain. I don't suppose a redhead?
I see you're familiar with her, yes. Although there wasn't just one of her.
No, there's multiples.
Commander, I think that you are in possession of a great deal more information about this station and the circumstances surrounding it than anyone on my crew. If possible, I think it's time to convene a And she just winces a little bit. A meeting of the senior staff. If you'd be willing.
Of course. I should mention, Captain, because of my psychic vision or whatever we want to call it, my captain did temporarily relieve me of duty. I don't know if I'm still being affected by it. I think to some extent I am, and I feel I should warn you of that.
I appreciate your prudence, Commander, and I will take your suggestion under advisement. We'll lock you out of most command functions for the ship just to play it safe. And my God, my first officer is rubbing off on me because I don't usually do that.
Commander Ajay, do me a favor, and I'd like you to roll a
Yes.
presence medicine difficulty of 1.
Okay. Presence medicine. Would I have any applicable focuses for this?
Sell me on something.
Well, if it's presence, I would argue for composure.
Done. Ooh, we got an extra momentum from Symbol. There you go.
Thank you.
Ooh. Crew of the
What's
Ragnar's
the-
here supporting you guys. That's beautiful.
Yeah. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty of 1. Ah,
Okay.
now I got an extra threat. Your complication range on this is an 18 to 20. Thank you, Symbol.
Really? Thanks, Lieutenant Paris.
An agent of chaos.
Well, no
Boom.
complication.
And no complication. That is 2. So you get 1 momentum right back. You guys are up to 5 momentum, which is fantastic. Commander Ajay, you stand up straight. You maybe were slouching slightly. The headache was still this kind of throbbing sensation, this pull towards Captain Hagen. But as you center yourself, even as you speak those words of, I may not be completely in the right mind, you start to get this sensation that can only be described as purpose. True, directed purpose. Captain Hagen is important, and this discussion of gathering everyone together, that's a good idea. Now, you can say something about that, you can not say something about that, but again, this sort of Bajoran intuition is saying, this is the right path, whatever that may mean.
She's gonna stay quiet for now since Captain Hagen's already doing that. So.
Absolutely brilliant. We're going to pivot over to the bridge. We're going to pivot over to the bridge of the Boudica, where a number of junior officers have just watched as a Ferengi wearing the yellow, not command, excuse me for misspeaking, Captain Hagen, excuse me for misspeaking, but the yellow of security has appeared on the floor. Ensign Zed, as your eyes adjust to the glow of the bridge, you hear first, as you have large ears and Ferengi have very good hearing, you hear this perhaps commotion around you in this moment. You hear some perhaps, who's this, what's that, and you feel cold. It feels like the edges of your ears are slightly frostburned. It's not a very good feeling, seeing as they're so sensitive. But as you open your eyes, you see 3 junior officers all staring at you. And I'd like to leave the scene to all of you.
Oh, well, Zed would come awake, and he would instantly look at their uniforms. Do they look like the uniforms of the Federation Dominion ship, the Ragna, that we just came off?
They don't. They look like regular Federation uniforms from your own timeline.
All right. Federation? How did I get here?
Is my character still unconscious?
No, she woke up.
Okay.
I got you.
The officer who is sitting at the, I guess, the tactical console has actually risen, and he is pointing a phaser in your direction. He is slightly dumpy and rotund, and he's just sort of like staring at you, bewildered.
Zed is also bewildered, and he's going to look around and say, "What about Lieutenant Paris or Mr. Velez? Were you able to save them as well?"
Who are they, and who are you?
I am Ensign Zed. chief of security of the USS Ragnar.
They made an ensign chief of security?
I don't understand.
Who does that?
Either.
That's insanity. I mean, I would be an excellent chief of security, but Ferengi, chief of security, that's nonsense.
That's really how did that happen? Did you do something really crazy and then they gave you this assignment? Did you was there no one else for the job? How did that work? How did that happen?
You would have to ask my captain. It was quite mysterious.
Oh,
But you were not responsible for bringing me here?
no, the bridge just kind of froze over and you just kind of showed up. So I don't really know. I got knocked out and she kind of looks at the scratch marks that are on her. But, I'm awake now and you're here. So,
Well, can you scan quickly? Scan for a Federation runabout of this configuration. Designation USS Crockett.
And Kayla will immediately turn and do that.
And as she turns to scan for a USS Crockett, Kayla sees that there is an incoming communique, a request for a video conference from a certain Prometheus class vessel that has landed next to the Boudica. One Captain Eva Cole is requesting to speak with one Captain Hagen, as it is a urgent matter. That name, Ensign Zed?
Yes. Ensign Zed turns a pale shade of orange and turns around. She's here. She shot me.
So she's not good then.
She tried to take over our ship. Of course she's not good.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right.
Well, you were not the only one. She tried to take over the Ragnar as well. Well, more than that. I'll explain everything, but I think you should alert your captain immediately.
Oh, right, the captain. And then she'll just click all the wrong buttons on the thing, and then realize what she's supposed to be doing. Nothing she can't quickly undo.
Some
and then,
smooth jazz starts playing on the bridge, but please continue.
Right.
And then she bridge to captain.
And there's a slight delay. Would I be awake at this point?
Yes.
Okay, then the captain will tap her comm badge. Captain here, yes?
You have to call. I mean, there's a hail for you from this redhead.
Son of a bitch. Captain out. And she's going to head to the bridge.
I guess we just wait now.
Brilliant. And Ensign said, you are standing there. I believe the young security officer still has a phaser trained on you. So that's a thing.
You say, please, I assure you, I will, if I do anything untoward, I will allow you to shoot me. But for now, we must see if we can save my friends. And he's going to walk over to the console where they're scanning for the Crockett.
So as you are scanning for the Crockett, Kayla, you pick up no such runabout. The only thing you pick up is the massive moon-sized station, known as Chronos Station, and the Prometheus Class Federation vessel that is landed to your starboard. That beeping, that incoming communique, that request for the captain continues to blink and blink. Almost seems like it's getting more and more annoyed as time passes.
Keela will send off please hold.
Please hold for the next available Captain Hagen. Your call is very important to us.
She'll kind of do it almost annoyingly, and then she'll look, I can't find your ship. I don't know what happened to it. It's just I don't. Nah.
But as we pivot away, I think that's a good moment to pivot away from the bridge for a few moments. We come to the center of the Chronos Station, this massive central cylinder-like core of the station, where the white hole is still at the base of this very deep, pit. Think Cloud City in Star Wars. There's a huge pit, and there's this pulsing, this white. And you watch as it seems to be like a light that's kind of dimming and then growing in intensity, dimming, and then growing in intensity. And you watch as it pulsates. And as it pulsates and you look down, Commander Velia, you are still leaning over the edge. You hear the heavy footfalls of a number of Nymphel moving to either pull you back from the edge or restrain you. You're not sure. You're so focused on the fact that not only did you lose one commander in the hallway, but Commander Velia, you just watched your first officer. These are the men and women that you were instructed by your very captain to protect. In the course of 30 minutes, you've lost both. So as we watch you there leaning over the edge, you see this pulsing white light at the base. And as you watch it, it seems like the walls of this huge, deep chamber are bowing and bending with it. It seems almost as if the central chamber is breathing. It's strange. Before you can really absorb that information, you feel two strong and large hands, not aggressively, but intensely grab you and pull you from the edge. Two of the Nymphel, the two Nymphel that you've interacted with, Rila, as well as Lychek, pull you back. Are you hurt? Has the light damaged your eyes? It is important that you do not look directly into it if you are not one of the chosen.
Why did you let her do that? She's just totally furious.
Two quizzical looks from the two Nymphel. What do you mean? This is as it has always been. She has fulfilled her intent, her purpose, in the ritual of the morning dawn.
Then you clearly don't remember how this ceremony works. You let her do this without her Dawn Guard prepared at her side?
The two of them look at Commander Velia. There is an instant of hesitation, as though perhaps she is forcing them to question what they believe to be truth. I'm going to have you roll a presence. Actually, what would be a good one for this? What would be a good one for this? I got to think about this for a moment, actually. You know what I'm going to have you roll? I'm going to have you roll a presence and command. However, seeing as you are speaking with, and Converse for Acting just said gaslighting the hosts, hilarious. Speaking as they are, you can only assume fanaticals. This is not going to be an easy check. You are very heavy with momentum, so I want you to take that into consideration. However, I am the game master. There's this amazing tool called Threat. I'm going to spend some. Your difficulty in this is a 3. I spend some threat. It becomes 4. Your complication range, in addition, is a 17 to 20 to gaslight your hosts.
So, okay. So I spend 1 momentum for 1 more die, and then 3 in total to roll 4? That's how that works?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm actually going to use my determination.
Not a bad use. What value is Commander Velia calling upon?
Not everything is as it seems.
Ooh, I like it.
I would just say then that would take 5 momentum to roll those 2 extra dice.
That is correct.
Right. So I'll just use 1. So I have to use for 1 more dice now. I only need 2. Or do I need 1? 2 momentum. Okay.
Yes.
It costs 2 momentum.
2 more.
Yeah.
So I need to give you 1 back then.
I took
it.
You got it? Perfect. Thank you, sir.
So I'm rolling 3 dice then, right? Okay.
You have 2 successes. You only need 2 more to succeed the check. You do have a 17 to 20 complication. You're rolling 3 dice.
Okay. And focus of body language mannerisms?
You know what? Absolutely. I love it.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Ooh, she did it. Is there a complication? No complication. The two Nymphel look to each other. You remember they have these sets of eyes on the side and the sets of eyes to the front. Both of them, their brows, their expressions seem to become more worried. And although you've never dealt with these creatures before, you're starting to pick up on the different inflections, the different expressions they make depending on how they're feeling. The one looks to the other. It has been a millennia since the last ritual. Indeed, perhaps we did forget something. Is it too late to undo it? No, what has been done has been done. There is another way, though, perhaps. And they're going back and forth in this moment. They seem to be discussing different options of how to proceed. What about the ritual of the crystals? The last time we tried, it was the one with orange skin. He damaged the ritual. We could always try again, but we are without the crystals we need. We could create new crystals. Perhaps their ship can assist us. And they go back and forth, having this conversation. Now, back on the central dais, there is the, I believe, tackled Vulcan diplomat. We have the science officer and the security officer. I
believe the Vulcan diplomat is dead, is what we were told. He's not just tackled.
Well, he whacked his head on the panel and broke the panel.
Yeah.
But it may have just been a really hard whack.
Well,
sure.
let me get to it. Don't ruin it for the kids at home. All right. As the security officer gets up, he goes to perhaps lift up the Vulcan diplomat. And if you remember back in episode 1 at the end, his neck was bent in a way that it shouldn't have been. It's bent in a way that it shouldn't be, and this time, you probably can't put it back. He's not breathing. So, do with that as you will.
I'm going to attempt first aid, unless it's really obviously hopeless.
Oh, it's pretty obviously hopeless. You broke his neck. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, tis but a
Hannah is
scratch.
just going to step forward there, looking down at the corpse, somewhat stepping around gingerly. I told you the prophets would protect us. I mean, that was an excellent display.
I'm just going to completely freeze them out and just stare at them and not answer at all.
Did you mean to kill him, or was that an accident? Okay, I'm just going to go over there to that computer terminal and try to find out what he was doing.
Okay.
Oh boy. And if you remember,
may the prophets be with you.
That computer terminal, Tana, had been smashed to a point where the screen is no longer working. It flickers slightly, but it's all just kind of like a broken TV where it's just different colors like showing up. You can kind of see flashes occasionally. You maybe see a symbol, but it's very, very broken.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I'm misremembering, but did you say that there were other terminals along this?
There are other terminals,
gangplank?
Absolutely. There are other terminals. Would you like to attempt to interact with them?
I would, yes.
Well, as you go to interact with them, you get close to what appears to be maybe some buttons, maybe some dials, dials as it were. And as you get close, there is a crackle of what seems to be static electricity. There's this kind of zip, and it stings your finger just before you get to it. It was a quick flash, but you think that it was orange lightning. You think that it was maybe orange in its color. And as you stand there, you hear a voice that seems to enter into Tana's mind. So,
what is the voice saying?
The voice says the following. I have a proposition for you. A deal of sorts. If you're willing to listen.
What are you?
I am your exit. I am your freedom. Death that awaits you aboard this ship, this station, this abomination. I am your retribution, your safety in the cold vastness of space.
Well, I thank you for that, but I already have actual gods that will protect me. So If you would kindly vacate my mind, I would very much appreciate that.
I'm going to spend some threat here, as there is a crackle of lightning that lances out from that console, striking Tana in the chest. Burial, Zim, you watch as Tana is flung back all the way to the edge of that central dais, lying in a smoking heap, either dead or unconscious. What do you do?
Run over and attempt first aid again?
As you
Unless he's obviously dead.
As you get close to him, he's not dead. He's very unconscious. But as you get close to him and you go to touch him, there is a crackle of electricity, a static shock. You're pretty sure that static shock was orange. You hear in your you hear in your mind a voice. I have a proposition for you. And he repeats the same statements that you just heard presented to your friend.
Am I able to communicate internally, or do I have to speak aloud to answer this?
You can do either or.
All right, internally. I'm listening.
There is something I need you to do. If you do this for me, I will ensure that you and all of your crew leave this place unharmed and with your lives. You see that console over to the right, and one of the consoles appears to be slightly brighter than the rest.
Yes, I see it.
I need you to go to it.
And do what with it?
I will tell you what codes to enter.
I'm gonna need a little bit more than that.
There is a tingle that starts in your lower spine and begins to travel up your spine. It feels like your back is on fire and your rib cage is about to burst out from your chest. You will do as I say, or you will suffer the consequences.
I raise my phaser to aim directly at the lit console.
And as you do so, there is a flash. Your entire vision goes white, and you collapse to the ground unconscious. Commander Velia, you are currently discussing with two Numfel the intricacies of the ritual and how they mucked it up, where you watch as a crackle of electricity seems to knock out your two other officers. You are the only member of the Way team still conscious, still up. Commander Velia, how are you feeling in this moment? What's going through your mind, perhaps?
The captain is going to be so happy with me.
Is she? Ooh.
And she just kind of looks, and she's like, what is going on here? Like, I literally have no one left. Who knows if they're alive? She just, I don't know. I guess she goes over there. She half jogs that mile.
As you start to jog that way, the more orange-looking Numfel steps in front of you, blocking your path. Commander Velia, it would appear that your insights into the natures of the mystery of the dawn are more insightful than we originally thought. We need your help in ensuring that the ritual is completed in a proper way. Do you have the ability to craft materials out of nothing?
I could answer that question. But considering the events that I have just seen regarding the Dawnbringer, and she kind of like gestures around to the center console, and more of our Dawn Guard are now no longer conscious, and who knows is still alive. I feel like I need to address these before we get to your ceremony.
In everyone's life, there is a moment, a choice that must be made. To sacrifice.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing that you're questioning my authority here. And considering you just messed up royally, I think we need to be following what I'm saying.
The two of them stand up a little straighter and say nothing.
She's gonna walk. She's gonna make her way to the center console to check on her officers.
Man, here I thought they were all going to survive. What a shame.
Oh,
All right,
please.
so as we pivot away from her, half jogging to the center of the station, we are going to pivot back over to the bridge where Captain Hagen, as well as Commander Ajay, have arrived on the bridge to relieve the somewhat shaken, I might say, somewhat shaken crew, the junior officers. And I leave the scene to all of you. Take it away.
Wolf, would I be able to also?
Oh, absolutely, Jasoniman. You are absolutely. Right. You know what? Seeing as things are about to get crazy, the chief medical officer says, "All right, now you're technically not ready for duty, but I've heard from some of the other command staff things are kind of getting crazy, and I don't want to die on this crazy time station, so." Here's a hypo spray, good luck, and he sends you on your merry way. The voice is going, yay, woo. They seem very excited about you being released from medical. But Jasoniman, you are now traveling to the bridge, and I think it would be interesting if you, Commander Ajay, and the captain all arrive on the bridge at the same time. And again, I leave the scene to all of you.
When they emerge and Zed turns and sees Commander Ajay, he'll say, "Commander Ajay," and he'll take a step forward and he'll say, "You are my Commander Ajay?"
Yes, Mr. Zed. Same timeline, I believe.
What ship do you serve on?
The USS Ragnar, of course.
Oh, and he'll come forward, almost wanting to hug her, saying, "It is so wonderful to see you here with me."
I'm sorry, did you say different timeline?
The thing about this station, Chronos Station, it seems to be connected to different points in the time stream.
Yes. And where's yours?
Ajay will give the star date, the last star date she has, which is when they were at Chronos Station the first time, I believe.
I can't believe anyone hasn't done this yet. I tricorder out. I need to learn about these two.
So as you do a quick scan, you're able to identify that they seem to come from the same timeline as you. Their atomic makeup matches, although it's about a year in the past. So they seem to be a year displaced, which would correlate to the information that Commander Velia shared with the command staff of the Ragnar having disappeared roughly a year ago from the exact date that you encountered Chronos Station.
Actually, the two of you are less interesting than you thought. You're actually not from a different timeline at all. You're just a little slow to catch up.
So, our ship was thrown into it. Well, I think we voluntarily flew into a different timeline, but our ship is still trapped there in a separate timeline, 30 years in the past. More than that, Commander Ajay, Mr. Velez and Lieutenant Paris, when I was last with them, we were adrift in a fried runabout. The life support systems were failing.
Then it's most imperative we get back to the Ragnar so we can find those two.
Yes.
Fortunately, Chronos Station is also currently being visited by one Captain Yeva Cole.
And that little communique request continues to flash. And it's like imagine that they've called on one line, and it's like one of those like things where you're like, yes, please hold, yes, please hold. Every single light is beeping. Like you've got like 18 messages like, get me through right now.
So I think at that point, the captain is actually just going to stride right in, take a seat in the command chair, point over to Commander Ajay. Commander, if you'll assume your position in the first officer's chair. Ensign, what is your position on board the Ragnar?
I am the chief of security, but
Good,
I
tactical.
also am very well.
Boom. Boom. I love it.
Yes.
Boom.
Passive
already
sensors only.
I'm already at my position.
Are its shields up?
No.
Jasoniman, I want you to get down to tactical. Bring out a photon torpedo, put it in the transporter room, and prepare to initiate a site-to-site transport right into their engine room on a timer.
Great
let's
idea.
say half a millisecond. I'll distract the captain. Commander Ajay, what you know of this temporally displaced captain, does she have to be stopped?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
What do you know about this captain? Does she actually have to be stopped? Is lethal force necessary?
Captain, whatever she's attempting to do, she will not be convinced otherwise. Part of what she seeks, it seems to be she's trying to find a way to save her son. But there's so much we don't know because she won't talk to us straight. She simply tried to destroy take over our ship and destroy it as far as I can tell.
Commander, that's all that I needed to hear. Thank you. Jasoniman, get to it. And just to be clear, the plan that the captain is proposing is that we sort of clandestinely distract the captain and use a site-to-site transport to beam a photon torpedo that will explode on arrival in the engine room of the Prometheus.
And they're docked next door to us, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Ensign, she shakes her head. I'm sorry, I don't even know your name.
Ensign Zed. And Captain, her name is Eva Cole.
Much appreciated, Ensign. Ensign, I want you to start reinforcing the structural integrity fields, but do it on the down low.
Understood. It will be very down low, Captain.
Good.
Ensign said. And again, Kayla, that communique request again and again and again and again.
Cap, she's still calling.
On screen.
And as the view screen connects to the other ship, the Prometheus, you see Captain Eva Cole sitting in her command chair. Next to her is a Commander Eva Cole. You see a number of other Eva Coles moving around the bridge. They all seem to be moving very frantically, as though they are nervous or concerned about something. Eva stares at Captain Hagen for a moment. Captain, thank you for taking my call. I understand we have gotten off on the wrong foot, but in this moment, it is imperative that we set aside our differences and prevent a great catastrophe from transpiring. She is coming back, and once she regains control of her station, she will stop at nothing to see any and all that had anything to do with it destroyed.
Captain, I'm certain that you can appreciate the fact that it is rather difficult for me to trust you or anything that you have to say, given our past encounters. And what she'd like to do as she's talking is read the emotional state of the captain using empathy. Can I discern what that is and whether the emotions are fit with what she has just said, or if she seems to be deceiving me in some way?
So you reach out to her, and she is not attempting to block any of your connection. She is an open book. She is trying to maintain the stoic, I'm in control demeanor, but she is terrified in this moment. You are filled with the emotions of loss, regret, of not like this. I've tried everything I can. It was supposed to work. She is terrified of whoever this person that is coming back, whoever this other lady is that's coming back. She's terrified in this moment, and she is genuinely seeking to work with you.
And noticing that Jasoniman seems to be eager to share something, the captain is going to...
I just want to know if I have a feed where I was, if I'm aware of what's going on.
100% you're aware.
Just make sure.
I would assume, Captain, you want everyone connected throughout this entire experience. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Captain. The floor is yours. What's going on here? You've been so cryptic in every one of our other past encounters.
I stole this station from a queue, Captain Hagen. I stole this station from a queue hoping that it would help me rescue my son. But the only thing I've managed to do is collect, she looks left, she looks right, an innumerable number of versions of myself, each seeking to do the same thing. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked until this last time when I was able to get him aboard the Ragnar. He's alive. But when the Q returns, when she comes back for her station, she will undo everything that I have done. And I can't let that happen. We have to destroy this station. We have to destroy it. Because if we don't, you know what the Q are. You know what they are capable of. Can you imagine a Q filled with rage? Can you imagine a being of that power seeking revenge? She won't stop with me, Captain Hagen. She won't stop until the entire Federation is destroyed. Not only on this timeline, but every timeline. So I ask you, I am an open book. I am being completely transparent with you. Will you help me destroy this station?
If you can prove to me that the destruction of this station will not have repercussions that will affect the Federation, I'll consider it. But this temporally displaced station is connected to every single point in time. Do you even know what would happen if it's destroyed? It could have untold ramifications for the entirety of time itself.
I don't know what will happen, Captain. And again, you're still connected to her, Captain Hagen, in this moment. She's grasping at straws. Desperation. You feel untold desperation from her in this moment. She is trying to find any solution to a problem that is of her own making. But you're not sure whether or not she's really thought it through. Desperate people do desperate things. I'd like you to make a check here, Captain Hagen. I'd like you to make a presence and command, difficulty of 3.
Sorry about this. I had the other character sheet open.
Don't
So I will give you, would any of my foci here apply? Diplomacy, inspiration, empathy?
Empathy. 100% empathy. Yeah.
So I will give you 1 threat and 2 momentum to roll 4 dice.
I'll spend that threat to increase your complication to a 19 to 20. Thank you.
And it's presence command.
Correct.
Okay. And I get to re-roll 1 with bold command.
Ooh.
And I will re-roll that.
That is a success. Nope, not a failure. Not a failure. So, Captain Hagen, it is going to be your choice, obviously, as your character in this moment, to whether or not you believe her. But the only information I can truly provide you is that she is a desperate, desperate individual, and that she has not thought this through. However, she continues in this moment, Captain Hagen. I don't know what will happen if we destroy this station, Captain Hagen. But what I do know is what will happen if we don't. That is the guaranteed mutual destruction of both of our crews, both of our federations, both of our loved ones. So again, I beseech you. I ask with honesty. I ask from the bottom of my heart as a mother. Will you help me destroy this station?
I need 5 minutes to converse with my senior staff to assess their opinions on your plan and its feasibility and its potential effects. If you can send us the data that you have on this station so that we can analyze it, find out what will actually happen if this station is destroyed, I'll consider it.
The captain, Eva Cole, looks to her left. A lieutenant, Eva Cole, nods, and there is a data packet that is transferred from the Prometheus to the Boudica. It has all of the information about this station. The amount of intel that you get, you understand how the station works. You even understand how to interact with it. She's obviously spent countless lifetimes dealing with this thing. She nods. Information has been sent, Captain. I'll speak with you shortly. The screen goes black, and then it pops back up. You see the interior of this huge docking bay, and I leave the scene to all of you.
I'm going to immediately go to the pad, although, I mean, I can come back. The torpedo's ready if necessary. That's just a click of a button.
Yep.
But I want the pad. I want to go through it as quickly as I can to give the captain as much information as I can.
She's just going to survey the crew.
Captain, I do not think that we can trust her judgment. Another version of Eva Cole was willing to sacrifice the entire Ragnar crew in order to bring back her child. Now it appears she is attempting to do the same thing with the station. And do we know for certain that this Q would want to destroy all of us?
It seems irrational, and as mercurial as the Q are, they do have rules in place that govern their behavior. The continuum would be unlikely, in my opinion, to allow them to destroy the entirety of the Federation across all timelines. That's nonsense.
I have one more caution against her plan as well, Captain. A being I can only describe as a paw-wraith attempted to convince me to destroy the station before I ended up here.
Commander, did this paw-wraith look like sort of like a living shadow?
Yes, but it was also that Andorian who keeps popping up to bother us.
Well, I encountered this being as well with Lieutenant Paris and Mr. Velez. It also offered us some sort of bargain, some sort of deal that we refused to accept.
Commander Ajay, in this moment, the mention of the paw wraith, there is this like dagger into your chest pain feeling. It makes you double over. It feels like you are being pierced by some large, sharp, poison-laden spear. It starts to spread out like this kind of like static, kind of spiderwebbed like pain shooting out from your chest up to your neck, down to your stomach, like you have the worst food poisoning of your life. You don't vomit or anything, but that feeling you got when you interacted with what you can only describe as a paw wraith, there is a sense that being is very, very close by. In fact, it may be aboard Chronos Station right now.
It's here? I'm sorry, Captain. I seem to still be affected by my encounter with it. But that creature seeks the destruction of Chronos Station. I can only imagine that is a poor choice to make.
Captain, I've completed my cursory analysis in the time we've had. I can give you my professional opinion.
Do so.
If we destroy the station, we destroy potentially every timeline in which the Federation ever existed, if not every timeline in general. I believe the station is a point in time from which all other timelines must travel through, and the ripple of the effect of the destruction of the station would destroy probably all species. Potentially going back to the Big Bang. I don't know if anyone would develop after that. It's entirely possible, but I think we would be dead.
Commander Jasanaman, the voices in your head, it's a chorus of applause.
Thank you. I live to serve.
Yeah.
I haven't thanked you, Lieutenant Commander, but thank you. Good work.
Sorry, that wasn't thank you. That wasn't directed towards you. Just a bit of internal. Either way, you're welcome.
Very good. She shakes her head. And she turns over to Commander Ajay. Cole's not going to stop. She's not going to listen to that, is she?
No. Every time we've tried to reason with her, she has refused to listen.
And she's doing all this, what, to save one child?
Her son, yes, she's incapable of letting him go. We do have a version of him aboard the Ragnar, but he's not. She claims she's saved him, but he's not stable.
Stable medically or stable temporally?
Or psychologically?
Temporally. Medically, he's fine because he keeps repairing himself because of the temporal displacement that he's going through.
Captain, sometimes it's time to cut off a gangrenous wound.
Apt. And she's just going to like, is he on the bridge yet? No, I guess he's still in the transporter room.
Sonoman could have made his way back to the transport, back to the bridge at this point. It didn't take him too long to set up what he needed to set up.
Commander, when I give you the signal, activate the transport.
Yes, ma'am.
And then what she's going to try to do is basically create some kind of fake set of data using her own scientific knowledge to try to convince the captain that they've assessed the plan and it actually makes sense. It will work as she intends. Mm-hmm. And then she'll open up communications if she's forged that data.
Mm-hmm. And as you open up communications, once again, you see Captain Eva Cole. This time, though, all of her duplicates are no longer on the bridge. They seem to have left. It's just her sitting there. Well, Captain, you asked me to be transparent with you, and I've been such. What is your decision?
Well, Captain, we haven't had a full opportunity to examine all the data that you've sent over. However, preliminary analysis, and she's going to give a signal for the data, mm-hmm. not to Jasoniman, but to the helm, for the data to.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, yes. Right.
You watch as the captain, Eva Cole, looks down at her little armchair data pad.
And as she's distracted, signal over to Jasoniman.
There is a... Go ahead, Jasoniman.
I do it. I do the thing.
There is a moment, and you watch as she looks at it. She looks back up towards Hagen as though she is about to say something. And then the feed cuts. The entirety of the Boudica shakes. It starts to kind of roll. You can hear the groaning of the landing clamps start to kind of shake back and forth, as though maybe even the deck of this landing bay is starting to give way. As the view screen transfers from the picture-in-picture of the, I guess the screen chat, as it were, as you see her, it goes back to that exterior shot of the deck of this, well, of this landing bay. You see flames, burning hunks of metal, and what can only be described as a destroyed Prometheus, and all of its chunks right next to you.
Jasoniman, scan the station for human life signs. What happened to the rest of her crew? Were they on board or did they vacate?
I start the scan. Do I need to roll?
Commander Jasoniman, you are picking up 200 human life forms aboard the station in different parts of the station. Captain, there is a message that arrives at your console, at your armchair console.
The captain is actually going to calm down to security and have them prepare to, I guess, board the station, potentially, and then turn over to Jasoniman. I don't suppose you can get a transporter lock on them and drop them all in a secure cargo bay.
I can try.
Unlikely. But Captain, do you read the message? It's text only.
Yes.
Always have a plan B. Signed, Captain Eva Cole. And that, my friends, is where we will take our quick 5 to 10 minute intermission for this episode of Star Trek Magmel. I want to thank both of our guest stars so far, as well as the crew of the Boudica. Y'all are doing absolutely fantastic, and we will have our epic conclusion of both series. No, I'm just kidding. Of this episode here in just a few moments. We're going to have a quick 5 to 10 minute break. Stick around, and thank you again for being with us. Right, and All right, and we are back for part 2 of episode 6 entitled Clouds. And we're actually going to pick up back aboard the central pillar of Chronos Station, where we see Commander Velia has made her way back to this central kind of dais, this central platform, where the large pillar that was holding the white hole, that white hole now at the base of this pillar, again, that kind of pulsating, almost like the station is breathing at the base, and you can start to feel it as you get to the center station. Like the base is like almost like the floor is pushing up and then lowering, pushing up and then lowering, which metals shouldn't do, but you know, hey, space magic. But you get to the edge, and as you get to the edge, you see your 2 other officers lying unconscious. They look to have been slightly burned, as far as you can tell, and you see a single glowing console that appears to be much brighter than the rest of the consoles. What do you do, Commander Velia?
Check if my officers are alive.
Who do you go to first?
Whichever one looks worse.
They're both about equal, but I think it'd be interesting if you went to Zim first. As you get to Zim, can you guess what happens? There's a small static electric shock, and you hear this voice in your head. You are different than the others. More difficult to influence. A force of will, perhaps. Do you know who I am? Do you know what I...
Nope. And she continues looking at the officer, checking him out.
He is injured, unconscious, but alive. Your other officer,
Okay.
injured, conscious, but alive. Unlike with the other 2 officers, there was this kind of mental control, this force of will that this being seemed to be able to exert over them. Commander Velia, you feel definitely there is another presence, another consciousness inside of your mind right now, and you can feel this kind of weighing back and forth, like 2 sides, 2 armies that are pushing and then they retreat, and then push and retreat. It's like this ebb and flow. It is similar to the ebb and flow that you are witnessing as this white hole grows and brightens and then dims, and it brightens and it dims, and this kind of ebb and flow that you feel in your own mind matches the ebb and flow, this growing in brightness and intensity, the bowing of the metal. And it doesn't seem that either consciousness, neither your own or this other entity, is currently winning. But the voice continues. You are not weak-minded, like most of those who walk on 2 feet, like those that do not exist outside of corporeal form. What are you?
I'm human.
You
What are you?
not human. There is something more to you. What are you?
I'd prefer if we had this conversation face to face rather than in my mind. It's quite intrusive.
And at the mention of face to face, there is this horrible burning sensation that you feel in your nostrils. And have you ever had like really spicy wasabi, like intense wasabi, and that feeling travels up your sinuses to your nose, a kind of burning sensation, or just very spicy food? That's the best way I can describe it to you. There's like a
Does it
burning
like pop
sensation.
in your nose?
Yeah, like pops in your
Okay,
nose.
that I know.
And you watch as this black kind of like cloudy smoke, like you're almost breathing fire, emanates out from your mouth and your nostrils. And in front of you, you watch as a blue alien, what can only be described as a Andorian, appears before you. His skin, though, is not that kind of light blue that you would expect from most Andorians. It is this dark, very, very dark blue. And you see that there are these cuts and scrapes that look to be self-inflicted all over his body, all over his body. And as he forms in front of you, really forming out of this smoke and taking on this corporeal form, his eyes narrow. Commander Bronson, at your service, Commander Velia. I believe there is something we can do to help one another. You seek to ensure the safety of your crew, do you not?
I think that's quite obvious.
I seek to ensure the safety of, well, the universe, Commander Velia. I seek to ensure that this station does not fall into the hands that it does not deserve to fall into. I seek to undo the chaos that Eva Cole has racked upon not only my timeline, but your timeline, Commander Velia. She has done so much harm. She has hurt so many people. Wouldn't you seek to undo such injustice as well? Commander Velia, give me a presence command, difficulty of 3.
Difficulty of 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use a momentum.
I think that's a great idea.
I don't know what I'm rolling, so I don't know if I have any focuses. Like body language, mannerisms?
Yes, all of those things will
Okay.
work. Brilliant. Brilliant. This thing, whatever it is the epitome of the perfect liar. You, for a split second, believe everything that it's saying. Everything this thing is saying, its inflections, its emotions, the very way in which it's presenting itself, it's talking with its hands, it seems to be pleading that it needs your help. But it makes one mistake. There is a devilish, ever so small smile that as it stops talking, as it stops pleading, appears on its face for a split second. And you know that smile. You've seen that smile. That's the smile of a liar. That's the smile of someone who's trying to manipulate you. You yourself have used that smile perhaps in the past at some point. Perhaps even recently when you gaslit 2 religious fanatics. This thing's lying through its teeth.
And Velia will actually chuckle.
You laugh. You laugh at mutual destruction. And here I thought you were special.
Destruction doesn't scare me.
What does scare you?
See, that's a question even I couldn't tell you because it's really none of your business. I feel like whatever your goal is, you don't really need me here. Or you do, which actually I think you do. So I'm just not going to help you. And even the fact that you're here in person, you're such a bad liar. Like, you're not even good at it.
His expression turns from this look of pleading to pure, unadulterated rage. It lunges towards you, but as its hands get close to your neck, it stops, as though it can't actually touch you. As though
Velia
it
didn't move at that lunge.
Can't get to you, and it growls. And it sort of seems to sink back, its hands getting close to its face. I will find another. In fact, kind of looks around, almost golem-like.
Can I interrupt and just shoot him?
You may. You absolutely may shoot him. Are you setting your phaser to kill?
Yes.
As you fire your phaser, it travels through the center of this Andorian It appears to create a kind of hole, and you realize that this Andorian is in fact not corporeal, but is made of black, shimmering smoke. As its facade dissipates before you, you see not an Andorian with blue skin, a dark blue skin in these cuts. You see a black, shadowy smoke monster. It starts to swirl and spin and attempts to lunge towards you. As you lance your phaser up, perhaps cutting through it, you hear this loud, high-pitched squealing noise, like a small rodent being stepped up. This, and it seems to dissipate and travel back towards that glowing console.
Velia is going to immediately go to her officers and call the Boudica.
You actually managed to get through. Captain Hagen, you get a communique from Commander Velia. You've already dispatched... Well, actually, no. I think this is a good moment to actually pivot back. Excuse me. We're going to pivot back to the bridge where we've just exploded the Prometheus. All of this that happened with Commander Velia was happening as that stuff was going on as well. And Captain, as you're about to perhaps start the discussion of what to do about the station, there is a communique that arrives. Your comm badge chirps, and it is Commander Velia reaching out to you.
Captain here. Commander, report.
First to transport to sick bay.
And she'll gesture over to Jasoniman since he's been working the transporters.
Sure, does it quickly.
And the two bodies in front of you, Commander Velia, they're... and they appear. You get acknowledgement from medical that the chief medical officer is working on the injured.
And then she's gonna, while the call is still on, she's gonna go to the console, check on that countdown. Status: Commander Rin is MIA. Mitchell stepped off the platform into the white hole. MIA. A black corporeal shadow form tried to supposedly influence two officers to send to medbay, and also me, but failed. And I am working on figuring out what this countdown is happening on the central panel of the station, Chronos station, that the ambassador, Vulcan ambassador, initiated, who is now deceased.
Okay, so you've managed to kill or lose almost everyone on your away team, but for yourself. Okay. That's not important right now. We'll talk about that when you get back. For now, you have to inform the denizens of the station that Captain Yiva Cole has boarded it, or the captain's Yiva Cole. There are about 200 of them dispersed over the station. We believe that they're attempting to sabotage it.
Captain, there's no time for us to tell everyone. We have to do something about it. Give me permission to go talk to engineering. I can bring something up quickly. Give me permission. We don't have time.
And she just gestures towards the door.
I run out.
Donovan, you run out. Commander Ajay, you do have time. But you and Zed need to get to that central chamber, and you need to get there quickly. You can't explain it. Maybe it's the prophets. But there is that Bajoran intuition again. It's telling you you need to get to that central chamber. There's something important about maybe what's happening now. Maybe what happened when you were here. The phrase, complete the loop. Complete the loop starts to play over and over again in your mind. There's something you need to do in that central chamber. There's something that has to happen. Something that maybe was broken that needs to be fixed.
Captain Hagen, permission to take Ensign Zed to the central chamber of the station. I think the last time we were here, maybe we left something behind.
I did break a crystal the
Yes.
last time I was
Yes,
here.
I think something to do with that crystal you broke, Ensign. I'm afraid I can't explain it, Captain Hagen.
I've never been one to question my own gut instincts. So, Commander, Ensign, good luck with whatever it is you're going to try to do.
Thank you, Captain.
And
Profits be with you and your crew.
I'm not exactly a fan of the prophets, Commander, but I appreciate the sentiment. GM, is it possible that we can just transport them directly there?
Yes. Whatever interference was blocking transport and more deep scans appears to have been lifted, as though a veil was pulled back. You're getting scans of the interior of the ship. Commander Jasoniman, you had started to go do something, and I want to just follow with you for a moment. What are you looking to do in this moment?
Check your DMs.
Oh boy. Wow. Well, that's dangerous. Here I thought everything was going to work out all right. So
it is a guaranteed she won't be able to affect it.
I'm already on board.
So I'm going to say yes, but here's the thing. None of them are in the central chamber. There's those 4 large pods. They are interspersed around in those large pods. So if you want to carry out that plan, but focus on those pods.
Yes, sure, I'll do that. I thought they would all be heading to the chamber.
Nope, they're all on the exterior. It looks like they're trying to blow up those exterior chambers, is what you see.
With a capable engineer, this should not take long.
It's not going to take long. You're fucking badass. I love it. If only Commander Ring was here to be impressed by you. Unfortunately, he disappeared. He's MIA.
Sadly, yeah.
So we are going to cut back as Captain, you watch as Ensign Zed and Commander... Why am I forgetting your name? Ajay, there it is. Wow, I'm just so excited. Commander Ajay are transported off your bridge, and Commander Velia, you hear the sounds of a transport, and you see a Ferengi and a Bajoran appear next to you.
Greetings, what's your role?
Commander.
Like, what are you doing here?
Are you part of Captain Hagen's crew?
Yes.
We're from the USS Ragnar, although we seem to have been transported to your ship temporarily, hopefully.
Of course.
You've been here for a little bit. Have you seen shards of a crystal?
Have I?
And at the mention of shards for a crystal, you know that panel that got smashed earlier? There's kind of a twinkle of light behind that smashed panel as the pulsating of that white hole at the base is growing larger and larger. The floors are bowing more and more. And as you look over, Commander Velia, there appears to be some sort of crystal with some sort of metallic object inside of it that was maybe hidden or misplaced or placed or put, I don't know, behind that cracked console. Interesting.
Valia will kind of more facing them more properly rather than just over her shoulder while she's on the computer. She'll gesture to the one that is broken.
Ensign Zed, that looks awfully familiar.
Zed will move over there and try to retrieve whatever it is.
That is you think, the exact same crystal you shattered, but it's no longer broken. As you look to the edge of this large central chamber, you see that the Numfel have created this huge kind of procession around, at equal distance around this chamber. All 99 of the Numfel. There's one spot that someone is currently not occupying, but the Numfel have begun that Gregorian kind of Om chant. And you watch as the central, this kind of pulsating white star, this kind of white hole, as it were, is pulsating, and it seems like it's trying to make its way back up the chamber, but it's struggling. It's struggling in this moment.
Is this the same crystal ritual we did in our... Cool.
Yes, it is.
Ensign, grab the crystal, take the spot. And don't break it this time.
Yes, Commander. Forgive me. Commander. Yes, Commander. And then he'll turn and run off in that direction.
As Zed runs off in that direction, we see Zed take his place. As soon as he arrives, there are these beams of white light that traverse all the way towards the central pillar. Commander Ajay, this is a mirrored version of exactly what you saw happen last time. You watch as the white hole is absorbed up through that central pillar and starts to make its way to the pinnacle, to the top of the chamber. Commander Velia, there's something that you mentioned you might want to mention to Commander Ajay in this moment, and I want to give you a chance to interact with her as this ritual seems to be taking place.
I guess Zed would notice it too, but it just kind of happened really fast, so I don't know if he'd have time to react. But Velia is familiar to both of you. Just that's just a little note to throw out there.
Oh!
Yes.
Ajay will kind of do a double take at her.
She looks really familiar. You feel like you don't like her, is the impression that you're getting.
And Velia's kind of like, why are you looking at me? Is there something wrong?
No, you remind me of someone I met. My apologies, Commander. Commander, have you seen... I don't know what form it would have taken. Possibly the form of an Andorian?
Yeah, I shot him.
I'm not sure that would have had quite a bit of effect, but...
It didn't, but he did disperse into a knot form.
And at the mention of disperse into a knot form, we watch as these beams of energy that are traveling from these crystals each of the Noonfell and Zed are holding reach the top of this central pillar. The white hole rises and rises. There are these kind of windows that are in different sort of equidistance up this chamber. So it's like a flash of light, dark, flash of light, flash of light. And it's the same timing. It's light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. As it reaches the pinnacle, and the white hole explodes, kind of bursting into bright radiance. Not actually exploding, but this bright radiance bursts out, illuminating the entire chamber. You watch as this enormous black, shadowy, what looks to be these black, shadowy wings start to encompass the white. That pulsating that I've described from the beginning of the session, it is this battle between darkness and light. It continues to pulse back and forth, back and forth. And then there is a moment, Zed, where you start to rise up. It's the same moment that transpired last time. My question to you, Zed, do you throw the crystal down to the ground again? Or do you allow it to happen? Do you eat it?
Zed, the thought crosses his mind, but now he's going to follow Commander Ajay's orders. He's say, "Don't let go of the crystal. Don't let go of the crystal."
We watch
He's gonna hold on to
as Ensign Zed starts to float up towards the white hole. At the same time, you watch as Commander Ajay starts to rise up as well. In the very center of this white hole, a shadowy black outline of what appears to be a humanoid appears. It seems as though they are walking towards you all with a bright light behind them, like a backlight, so you can only see their kind of black, shadowy outline. A moment passes, and then another. And then appearing in the center of this white hole is what looks to be a black-haired Romulan. She giggles. "Ooh, I've made it home again. How exciting. And I have a captain myself as well. Oh, this is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Who the hell are you? And who the hell are you? And what are you doing aboard my station?" She speaks to Commander Ajay, Commander Velia, and Ensign Zed.
You must be the Q.
Well, yes, I am the Q, one of the Qs, the daughter of Q, but that's neither here nor there. Did you fix my station? Is this all of your doing? You're just a commander, but I think I like you better than that captain of yours. He seemed a bit, I don't know, too serious. Are you serious? I don't like serious. I prefer more entertaining, although Lieutenant Paris was also quite delightful, although he is just a lieutenant. I suppose I could at least handle that, but did you fix this?
Velia is going to so casually there's a countdown.
Oh, that's fine. She waves her hand, the countdown stops.
Nice.
There's a bunch of versions of a woman aboard your station who's attempting to destroy it. You might want to stop her.
She closes her eyes for a moment. She opens her eyes, and Jasoniman, could you explain to the class what you just did?
Oh yeah, happily. So, as I understood it, the only problem was a human woman. So in my head, I started to think of what the options were to remove simple humans and to potentially not hurt the Noonfell, because I don't really know if they're a problem, but I need to keep the station around. The station's too important. If I don't have the station, I won't be able to save lives, potentially my parents, millions of my people, or even prevent the Dominion War. I haven't decided how much we should do yet. Maybe stop the Zindi. I don't know. Anyway, the only way I could think of to quickly get rid of the humans was probably a mutagenic virus or some sort of biogenic weapon. And since there's only one human aboard right now, and it's a Drillian, and we can get her back with a transporter, I decided to create trilithium resin gas bombs.
The Q looks to Commander Velia. It would actually appear that one named Jasonimo, I think it is, he actually took all of them out. Some sort of nerve agent. I'm not sure. They might be dead. How fun.
Very. I guess, are we good now? Are they still floating?
Yeah, they're still floating, in front of her, near. You're kind of looking up at them. Oh, sorry. My mistake. Best send you back to where you belong. And she'll float over to Commander Ajay, look at her, pat her on the head. Bye! Snaps her fingers, flash of light. You're gone. She turns to Zed.
Oh.
She frowns at Zed.
Right. Oh, I'm very sorry for breaking your station. I didn't understand what was happening, but I am doing my best to fix it. In return, could you possibly see that Lieutenant Paris and Mr. Velez are safely brought back to the Ragnar?
Oh, they're completely fine. And she is going to snap her fingers, and you disappear as well. She looks down to Commander Velia.
One moment. Can you... So, you sent them back to their ship, I'm assuming?
Oh, of course. I like that ship. It's very sleek. Black design. I've always liked dark colors. But what were you saying?
Oh, black's always nice.
I know.
I have to give this to Captain Treso. I was ordered, and she holds out this chip. You zapped them away before I could give it to Commander Ajay or Ensign Zed. So
Snap of her finger, the data chip disappears. Done.
Yeah, you're welcome, cousin. And then can you send me back to my ship?
Oh, of course. All right. It's been a hot second, but bloop! There is a flash of blinding light, Commander Velia. You find yourself, along with the captain, along with Jasoniman, back aboard the bridge of Boudica. Ensign Zed, Commander Ajay are both gone. Captain, you get a communique from medical.
Captain here.
Captain, kind of a weird question. Did you transport Commander Mitchell and Commander Rin back to medical? Because kind of looks like Commander Rin took a fall and Commander Mitchell looks really regretful, but they're both unconscious.
Did their arrival happen to coincide with several flashes of light?
Yes, I thought I was having a stroke, but, I ran some tests. I seem to be fine.
No, I think that the owner of the station has returned. It's a Q.
Oh, fucking Q. Excuse me. Sorry, language.
I wouldn't say that. When
Chief
the Q
medical
could hear
officer
you.
hanging out. Boop, and he exits. But our final scene of today's session is a exterior shot of the Boudica, just outside that kind of shimmering veil that I described to you all that represented this sort of temporal bubble that Chronos Station found itself in. You watch as what can only be described as a purple space dragon flies towards the station superimposed over what appears to be an Intrepid class Federation ship. The dragon itself looks to discorporate itself, detach from the station and travel, from the ship and travel towards the station, merging itself with that shimmering veil. As it does so, there is this purple sort of swirling energy that wraps around the station. And in an instant, there is no flash of light, there are no fireworks. The station simply disappears. You run a couple of quick scans and realize that you are right back where you originally ran into Chronos Station, Captain Hagen. There is a message. It is a communique request from one Starbase 24. This is Starbase 24. Where the hell did you all come from? And that is the end of Episode 6, Clouds, of Star Trek Mell.
Can I toss in one epilogue scene for a second?
Absolutely may.
As the ship is departing, heading towards Starbase 24, you hear the captain's voiceover. Well, Commander Sonneman, it's a good thing we didn't have to implement whatever plan you were trying to come up with.
Are the voices still in my head?
No, they're gone.
Were they gone when the station disappeared?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm not as upset, but I probably have a tear running down my eye because I was so set on using that station to fix things. Yes, Captain, that's it's good for both of us.
What did you come up with, anyways?
Oh, it was a complicated spore thing to target her. It probably wouldn't have worked.
Well, good job nonetheless, Commander.
Thank you, Captain.
Credits roll. Good job, everybody. Well done, everyone. That was a delight. That was an absolute delight. I thought you all did a fantastic job. I hope you had fun. Good news. The crew didn't blow up the universe, so that's good.
That's a plus.
I was really hoping you'd choose to help the Captain Eva Cole. I was really hoping. You know, she's just a mom trying to save her kid, you know, by killing everything. Seems pretty reasonable to me. But yeah, did you guys have fun? That's all that matters to me.
Yes.
Did you guys have fun?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, seriously.
Did I kill all the Noomfell, or were they evolved enough that they were
affected? You may never know. I'm gonna let that. I'm gonna let that moral quandary sit with you. I'm gonna let that moral quandary sit with you, and let that plague just on him. And I think that'll be an interesting character development for him to struggle with. Did I just murder an entire species? Oh God, I'm a monster. But that was absolutely fantastic. And I want to give a special thanks to Sidereal Day and Charles for joining us here this evening. You were an absolute delightful guest stars aboard the Boudica. And just want to compliment everyone for standing up for what they believe in, for making hard choices, and for inventing nerve agents. I thought that was great. I thought that was fantastic. And also, I want to say thank you to everyone. We capped at about 19 viewers today. So I don't know who's out there watching us, but I want to thank you all for joining in on this episode. You will see these beautiful, well, at least a few of them, as well as the regular crew back next week. And unfortunately, it wasn't all a dream. There is indeed a Federation Klingon war that has sprung up, so you guys will have to start interacting with that and hopefully help prevent further loss of life. But you all did wonderful, and as I always say at the end of every session, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns before we wrap up today's episode?
You're being tagged in the chat.
What am I being asked?
Did the final mural in the art history hallway finish?
That's a great question that you may never have the answer to. Chronos Station is gone. Oh, Converse Fracta. You think I'll reveal my secrets? No, I'm Gandalf, so I'm gonna keep my secrets. But I love it. I absolutely love it. But as I always say at the end of every session, thank you so much to the players for playing. Thank you so much To the viewers for viewing, happy gaming, everyone. We will catch you next week for episode 7 of Star Trek Mell. Until then, be well, be safe, and happy gaming. Good night, everybody.